So there are many ways to start a business and build a business from the ground up. But here's the part that I think is probably the easiest for beginners, because I've been in the business space for years now. I've started startups. I've launched, product businesses. I've launched service businesses. I've tried all kinds of business models. I've done a whole bunch of stuff, and I've been fortunate to work in various kinds of positions, from software development all the way to blogging and copywriting and marketing and things like that. So I've done a whole bunch of things which gave me some insights into the business space. And I gotten to see kind of different business models that you could do. Now, as a kid, I didn't really have like a lot of business experience early on, like early primary school, middle school. I wasn't that kind of business type guy. This is something that I kind of got into kind of, as time went on. And that's how I kind of, but I wasn't even an entrepreneur as such. I was just much more focused in technology, inventing and things like that. And it's only when I had started my own tech businesses that I realized, okay, I gotta learn the business side. I gotta learn marketing. I gotta learn how to sell things. I gotta learn how do you get attention for your idea. I was just much more so focused on the technology and the technicalities. As a lot of tech type minded people are, they are prone to focusing on the technology to the exclusion of all else. So I've gotten to see now there's all kinds of ways that you can start a business. Like, so you see some people doing like they might do flyers to try to get awareness, right, and that works. Or they might do cold calling, which is something that I'm actually doing to promote a big product that we happen to be promoting. Um, that's a method that works. Also, you could do cold email, and then you see some people going out there and doing like YouTube. You see some people going out there doing blogging, or you see some people going out there doing Instagram or TikTok or any of that. Now, all of those things can work. Now, there's a lot more people for whom it doesn't work because they're not good at it. So if it's cold calling, uh, just because the method works doesn't mean it works for most people. It probably works maybe for 10 to 20% of people, because the other 80% you haven't achieved the level of skill yet to make it work. This is kind of like making a nuclear bomb, really. Like, there's a lot of countries out there in the world, maybe run by like some evil dictator, that might want a nuclear bomb, but so maybe 90% of countries would want a nuclear bomb. But guess how many of them can have a nuclear bomb? It's much, much smaller than 10%, because uh, only that, maybe less than 10%, actually has achieved the level of skill where wanting the nuclear bomb and being able to make it meet, and they can actually do it. And the other ones, might want the nuclear bomb, are interested in having it, but can't put it together. So they might be trying random experiments, random things, but never get there. So this is, in a sense, what happens with a lot of marketing methods, whether it's cold calling, whether it's cold email, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, or whatever, is it works for a small group of people, and then for everybody else, it increasingly doesn't work in direct proportion to their lack of skill at that particular thing. So, and I think it's kind of like that in any activity, really. It's kind of like what the Pareto principle said, which is that uh, only 20% of the inputs are responsible for 80% of the outputs. So in any huge industry, only 20% of the players are getting 80% of the results. Like, it works great for them, but it doesn't work that great for the other 80% for everybody else. So it's just something to know, and that kind of applies to marketing and growing any business. So as a beginner, you are stuck now because you are most likely in that 80% in whatever marketing method or business growth method you choose, because you still haven't achieved the level of skill. So that's why this is so important that you go down a path that is kind of hacked in your favor. And this is what I consider the big part, is you need to build a business that markets via personal brand. Personal brand is the method of marketing, is the one method, one way of marketing out of all these methods I've talked about in this, mentioned in this exact same video, like cold calling, cold emailing, Instagram, YouTube, blogging, and then you got SEO, PR, flyers, growth hacking, this and that, AI, chat GPT, whatever. And those are not even marketing methods, but they're kind of like tricks and hacks you see a lot of people mentioning, and they get beginners all confused and get you stuck. But the one method that's easy enough where a beginner can get into business and start growing their business and start getting some results is building your business via personal brand. Now, personal brand means you're gonna pick maybe one social media platform, and then you're gonna go on there and start creating content on a daily basis, and then you're gonna try to get people to see your content and interact with it, and slowly start building an audience of people that are interested in what you're doing. Now, this method is not fast. It's slow, but it's the method that's easy. If you go out there and you start banging on cold calls or cold emails, it's gonna be very hard. Those are kind of like on a level of difficulty from 0 to 10. Those are kind of difficulty level 10 skills. So you could literally be trying that for 3 months, get nowhere, and then you're gonna get frustrated and quit the method. Hopefully you don't quit business altogether as well, but that can happen when beginners. It's like being a beginner cyclist, and then I go my first race, I go and try and compete at the Tour de France, and I get washed out, and then I quit cycling altogether. But it's just because you chose to compete at the wrong venue, at the wrong avenue, damn it. Like, you're not yet good enough to go compete with the pros at the Tour de France. Don't overestimate your capabilities, you know. Go and compete, not even at the local competition. Go and compete by yourself around a local football field, and just cycle there and time yourself and look at your time. Now you're gonna feel good about yourself, like you're actually making progress. Like, okay, this is a good speed, because this is an amateur level speed, and yet you're able to meet it. And so from there, you gradually increase the level of difficulty, but you don't throw yourself in at the deep end and fail and quit. Like, that's not the way to do it. So here's what you're gonna do is, personal brand is the method that's so easy, because you're not interacting with people via cold email where people are literally writing you back like, you know, you're an idiot, you need to get out of my inbox. You know, you're not cold calling out people and people are saying, hey, get off the phone, you're wasting my time. You know, like, that's pro level stuff. Now, if you're a beginner and you can do that, you can handle that, that's actually good for you. Go ahead and do it. Like, if that, I'm not trying to like limit you, because I know those methods can actually be very, very powerful. That's why, like, for example, for myself, one of the things that we're actually promoting, right? We actually happen to be using cold calling. It's really a powerful method, because you can get feedback like instantly in 5 minutes after just 10, 20 cold calls, right? You can 5, 10 cold calls, you actually get some information back, like what are the people saying. So if you got the knack for it, but then you're probably not a beginner, this hopefully is a video to help beginners, like absolute beginner. You have no idea, you've been struggling how do I push my product? How do I? So the way to do it is use the method of building a personal brand, because in a personal brand, no one is rejecting you. You're just putting up content on Instagram or on YouTube or on Twitter, and only the people that are interested are coming there, and they see the content and they can comment like, oh great, or whatever. And if you get comments at all, most of them are gonna be very positive. So your experience of business is gonna be so positive, so upbeat, get you motivated that you can stick with this for the next 6 months. Because with any marketing method, for it to really work, you gotta be able to stick with it for at least 6 months to see good results. With the harder methods, like you try SEO, you don't get results, after 6 months, you're gonna quit. Cold calling, you try cold calling, you don't get results, you're probably not even gonna last 6 months if you are really bad in the beginning. Like, and it's your very first thing you ever did in business. It might be such a bad experience, like I said, that some people literally would just quit at that point. So that's not the way to subject yourself to that kind of head trauma where you're just worried, you're stressed. Like, use the method of personal brand. You know, build a personal brand audience of 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people, and then link to your product. Like, tell them like, okay, this is the product that I'm creating. You might not even have a product as a beginner, but you can kind of tell them, I'm thinking about launching this type of product. So that's the other advantage of building a personal brand, is even if you don't have the product ready, you don't have to have a product. You're just building up an audience that after 6 months, you've now had enough time to actually go and think about what kind of product should I be selling, and then you're now able to actually sell to that audience. Whereas if you're cold emailing or cold calling, or running any of the other kind of marketing methods, you kind of need to have your product ready to go. Like if you're doing flyers, people are not just gonna respond to your flyer just to have a conversation. They need to know, like, what am I getting? Is this a new what kind of product is this? That's the only way that they actually would respond and call you up, is if they see there's some kind of offer for a product, like, okay, buy one get one free. Okay, they see some kind of product. Whereas with a personal brand, even if you don't have a product, you can still use this marketing method, and after 3 months you've done your research, now you know, okay, I can actually sell XYZ product, and you go tell your audience about that product. So this is one of the hacks I wish I had known, but also something that I think a lot of beginners in business that are trying to start their own business, you're new to the space, you've just started your business, you're wondering, how do I promote, how do I build this? This is, in my view, the easiest hack to get into business and also to promote your business or your product as a beginner. Now, if you need more resources to help you, you can grab some of my free resources. The links will be in the description.